Season of the Lost has brought with it some huge changes to the way you play Destiny 2. From new exotics, updated abilities, and of course brand new weapons in this fresh feeling sandbox that is Season 15. But there's one brand spanking new perk that single-handedly changes the way you play arguably the strongest ever subclass we've ever had in the game. Headstone is that perk, and like I said, it allows you to change the way you play with Stasis. We've only ever had two rather lackluster Stasis exotics up until this point. Salvation's Grip was first up, doing whatever it does. It's been nearly a year since it came out, and aside from a team crossing a bridge with it during the Last Wish raid, I can only say that this Stasis exotic needs a complete rework. Then we had the Cryosphesia 77k exotic sidearm, which to be honest is cool, but getting a kill with the sidearm to then be able to proc one stasis shot to freeze enemies is a bit underwhelming to say the least. There's also Osmosis, which as you may know is a favourite perk of mine, but it's really nothing more than a glorified modifier. So when I heard that Stasis legendary weapons and perks were coming in this season, I was a little bit concerned, as you could imagine. But what do you know, it turns out you don't need a Stasis exotic for Stasis weapons to be good. Headstone is only available on free weapons in Destiny 2 at this time. Vulpecula, the new 188 RPM Stasis Handcannon, which is seeing somewhat of a surge in popularity in the early stages of the season. You can get it from the precision focused umbral engrams at Helm, or as an end of activity reward from the new seasonal activity in the Dreaming City Astral Alignment. Not to be confused with Anal Alignment, that's something else entirely. It'll also drop on the Peace Bond Adaptive Frame Stasis Sidearm, which you can get your cold hands on during Iron Banner. Lastly, it's also a perk that will roll on the new Trials reward from this season, Reed's Regret, which is the only legendary stasis heavy weapon available right now. It's a precision frame linear fusion rifle which will come with an adept version too at some point. At the time of writing, I only have Headstone on Vulpecula, so let's first take a quick look at it, but before we do that and get into the build synergy it presents, why not hit the subscribe button if you're new here. I cover tons of builds and guides aimed at making the endgame of Destiny 2 accessible for everyone so that you too can get that loot. Liking this video really does help me out too, and it's always appreciated. Why not join our community Discord server as well, the links are down in the description. Looking back at my Vulpecula, it has hammer forged rifling to extend its range, which is always handy on a 180. There's also extended mag, which massively increases the ammo in the magazine up to 19, allowing you to make the most out of the new Stasis perk in combat. In the first perk column, there's another new perk with Shoot to Loot, which allows you to shoot ammo bricks to collect ammo, and it also automatically reloads all your weapons from reserves. It's not the best choice in my opinion, but you get what you get and you don't get upset. Headstone though is obviously the main perk, whereby precision final blows spawn a stasis crystal at the victim's location. It acts basically as a stasis gravestone, marking your victim's final resting spot, and with Vulpecula being a precision frame handcannon, it really is as easy as it gets to proc this perk all of the time. The great thing is though that this perk works in both PvE and PvP, and you'd think that there'd be an uproar especially in the Crucible. However, it's not in any way oppressive, as it's quietly doing bits, combined with underused stasis fragments, aspects and even outplaying some exotic armour. So that's Headstone and the weapons you can currently get it on, but why do you need it and how can you maximise its potential? Well, it's all to do with the stasis crystals it creates. If you look at it this way, this is effectively a free glacier grenade on tap with literally any precision final blow in the game. Red bar enemies and mobs will produce a small stasis crystal, yellow bars and fellow guardians will create a medium stasis crystal, with mini bosses and bosses creating a large stasis crystal. Any enemies that are near to the stasis crystal too will be instantly frozen, allowing you to shatter them easily. This though also allows you to move away from the Glacier Grenade and revert back to either the Dustfield or Cold Snap grenades as standard choices. Hunters, don't you worry, you can still use Shatter Dive on it, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now when we come to look at the build synergy for Stasis Aspects and Fragments offered by Headstone, there's a lot you can do. Turn it into a somewhat exotic tier perk or even a bonus subclass node all by itself. Whisper of Shards is the first thing that comes to mind when using Headstone, as shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals will increase its duration. You can shoot or even use your uncharged melee to shatter the Headstone crystal to activate the Shards perk. Not to mention, it grants you a bonus to your resilience stat as well, which with the new stasis enemies in the game this season, this is an obvious choice to choose if you're running Headstone. This in turn though is going to give you the ability to throw multiple stasis grenades relatively quickly, and you can even pair it with the new stasis armor mod Grenade Kickstart. When throwing any grenade, you'll get a bump to your grenade energy straight away. These mods do stack, with one granting 10% and two granting a 15% bonus, making them in my opinion a must have for any build going forwards. Grenade Kickstart, Whisper of Shards along with Headstone is a super simple but highly effective base stasis grenade build without the faff. Whisper of Fissures is going to straight up boost the shattering effect of your Headstone stasis crystals or frozen enemies and makes it a great choice for ad clear, giving you a somewhat dragonfly styled stasis effect from your stasis weapon. Whisper of Chains though is straight up a must have too, especially if you're creating multiple stasis crystals with Headstone. With both the sidearm and handcannon being close quarters due to their archetypes, you're more than likely going to be near enough to one to benefit from the damage resistance Chains offers. Whether you're running and gunning or just slowly making your way through a nightfall grind, Chains is a really strong stasis fragment to use with Headstone. Whisper of Rime though can provide you with that bonus overshield when used with any of the subclass harvest aspects. Collecting stasis shards after freezing targets that are too close to Headstone or from any of your now rapidly charged abilities via shards or the harvest ability will be easy to do on a regular basis. The Whisper of Refraction's class ability bonus is also going to be an option too with Headstone, as is the forgotten about Whisper of Bonds for bonus super energy. Whisper of Hedrons is also going to allow all classes to have a neutral game improvement nearly at all times, especially in high density enemy encounters, more so than even what some exotics offer. Obviously, you can build around any of these fragments with your favourites, but these are just my top picks you could consider if you're using a Headstone weapon. This also frees up the hunters to not use the Touch of Wind aspect to boost your grenade size, and you can, like I mentioned, use the Shatter Dive aspect to destroy the Headstone crystals. Titans can use the Cryoclasm aspect to slide through and shatter the crystals as well, with Headstone arguably making the Howl of the Storm aspect obsolete. The underused and unloved Diamond Lance aspect may now also become a popular pairing with future stasis builds. Finally, we've got Elemental Well mods which are now more useful than ever with the Stasis subclasses because of the introduction of Stasis Legendary Weapons. Elemental Armaments is going to produce Stasis Wells left, right and centre, with popular favourites like the Font of Might for a damage boost and the Font of Wisdom to improve your super cooldown being top choices. But we've also got a ton of new Elemental Well mods to come this season via the Wayfarer's Compass. These will be unlocked by rank upgrades in Helm and also rotate weekly with 3 available each week. Some of the new Stasis Elemental Well mods are going to be meta for Stasis builds, especially the new Elemental Shards mod, which will allow Stasis shards you collect to count as Elemental Wells, making for some crazy ability cooldowns. Arguably, there's no need for ability recharge exotics such as Verity's Brow, Heart of Inmost Light or even Dragon's Shadow, as Stasis is going to do all of this for you and more. Therefore, it allows you to lean into other exotics like the newly buffed Hunter exotics the Lucky Pants to improve your Handcannon precision damage, or another buffed Titan exotic with Precious Scars to aid in healing your allies, and even Necrotic Grips to add damage over time to enemies. Ultimately, Headstone is going to change the way you approach your Stasis gameplay going forwards, and with more Stasis weapons both legendary and exotic to come, I'm excited to see more Stasis style perks introduced in Destiny 2, especially if they have overpowered but somewhat passive benefits that Headstone does. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the world of Stasis and the new legendary perk Headstone. Have you tried this new perk out yet, and how do you rate it? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to subscribe, like and join the community Discord server too. But that's it for this one though, so on that and as always, thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you next time.